O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 3:07 p.m. Eastern Time. We got 1 hour left to go in trading right now, and you got markets rolling over a bit. All things considered, you're looking at an S&P right now, folks, that is about 60 points away from all-time highs. We were up this morning at about 64.31, all-time highs of 64.68, but you go back to a 5-minute chart, and you got markets rolling over a bit. As we just came into lows of the session, as I was getting ready for the program, and right now you're off by just 6 points in the S&Ps. NASDAQ 100, negative by 33 points, or about 0.1% right now. We're chopping around almost where you were right on the open. That correlates to where you were at about 4 a.m. Eastern Time as well. Dow off by 200 points, and the Russell off by 1. We take a look at a little bit of a price of volume on these indices. Now, the S&Ps. Let's take a look at it. So I'm going to zoom in on the option, the volume here. Now what's remarkable is, okay, we had a tremendous amount of volume on August 1st on the selling. You got a bit of a reprieve. You take a look at the action we had on Thursday, August 7th. Okay, slight trade higher. Fridays, we're missing some volume there on Friday. Now today, looks like we're going to be missing some volume today as well, right now. We've only done about 800,000 contracts in the S&P. That's versus 1.1 and 1.4 the last 2 days. You jump over the NASDAQ 100, and you're talking about doing 447,000 on Friday, 557,000 on Thursday, and we might get some volume today. We got an hour left to go, and you're going to get some volume on the close, and we're going to need about 100,000 contracts to get above where we were on Friday, and you might do that. But nonetheless, you get the NASDAQ 100 bumping up near highs right now, as we're even negative by 34 points. So we jump to NVIDIA and AMD. So they're going to be kicking back 15% of their profits to do business in China. The market actually sold them off on that news this morning. Sold them off again near the open, rebounded quickly, and just like that, we're in higher territory with NVIDIA pushing 183 right now. AMD, pretty similar action. Not quite the same volatility, but you race higher out of the gate. We've given back a lot of those gains. AMD just slips in the red with this market right now. Jump around to some of the other equities. You got Amazon down about 0.6%. Microsoft, slightly in the red. They've given up their gains today. You jump over to Google shares, down by about 0.2%. And Apple, even Apple, I say that as in quite a week for Apple last week. Apple down about 0.8%. Now the news that also hits is you have a 90-day pause. Now this was expected because that's how things have been going, but it's not true until it comes. But Trump extends the tariff truce for another 90 days, okay? He signed an order extending that truce, and negotiators from both sides reached a preliminary agreement to keep the arrangement last month in Sweden, and this is going to extend that. The extension will ease the worries of a renewed tariff war. So again, tensions ease. The extension may also clear the path for Trump to visit China to meet with Xi in late October, around the time of an international meeting in South Korea that the U.S. leader is likely to attend. All right, and then we talk a little bit of Fed. So you have Treasury Secretary Bassett. I gotta get that one. For some reason, the pronunciation expands the Fed chair search. Bowman, Jefferson, and Logan. Michelle Bowman, Philip Jefferson. Those are two vice chairs, and the Dallas Fed President Lori Logan, they're under consideration to serve as the next Fed chair. You have the Treasury Secretary running the search, going to interview additional candidates, and this is coming right now, man. Michelle Bowman. Now she was out there calling for 3 cuts. And there's Vice Chair Philip Jefferson. So Trump appointed Bowman to the Fed in 2018. She made her vice chair for supervision. That's the bank's top regulator this year. And Jefferson was appointed to the board by Biden in 2022, and then appointed vice chair in 2023, also by Biden. All right. So All right, we're going to get constant headlines nonetheless, right? Yeah, we go back to rates in focus. So the market I was talking about this morning, we're getting a little bit of lower price, higher yield, but nothing really going on in this market. We got a 10-year at 4.27% right now. Okay, we were inching towards 4.2, 4.19. You can see how this area. Now you jump back to where we were in July 1st. Can't believe it's already in the middle of August. I feel like July 1st was yesterday. I remember because the 10-year was at 4.19, and boom, just like that, you reversed. Where did we get to again? So the high there was 112.12. We got to 112.15, right? You got to 112.11, 112.14, and then 112.15, and we've rolled over a little bit since then. So the 10-year is comfortable at about 4.25%. We've hit a low yield of about 4.2. But the market right now thinks there's about a 90% probability that they'll be cutting rates by 25 basis points come their September meeting. And then the market right now, they have 3 meetings left. The market is about 50-50 whether they're going to have 2 cuts or 3. So the market thinks right now they're going to either have 2 out of 3 cuts or they're going to go cut to end the year. And I bring that up because that is what is priced into this market right now. For it to trade to higher price and lower yield, you're going to have to see more cuts priced in, okay? And that probably will happen. The thing that's in front of that is going to be inflation data, okay? That's the only thing preventing it. The Fed's going to start cutting. It's happening. You're going to have a new Fed chair in there. The current governors, the jobs data alone is lining up for the cuts. The only thing that's going to stop them is going to be the CPI data. We get that tomorrow morning. But yes, in the short term, the pressure's on. I don't think anything in the CPI in terms of tomorrow is going to change the fact of what happened in the jobs number that's going to push for a cut in September. And you're going to have the wind at the back, okay, when it comes to higher price and lower yield over the next 6 months. And as that happens, that should put pressure on the dollar, continued pressure. And you're seeing the dollar right now slightly higher at 98.53. But you take a look at this dollar on a longer term basis, man. Okay? Yeah, you got a slight bounce in July. But I just showed you that yields in July started at 4.19. The dollar went up because you got a slight reprieve with yields higher. Well, guess what? That's about to reverse. Yields are already back to 4.2. And the dollar looks like over the next near term, man, we'll see. But the heat might be on to the downside. Lots of cuts priced in already, though. Folks, stay tuned. We're coming back with our man Steve Rhodes. We're going to talk some markets. Don't go away.